5. Hello and welcome to The Triangle. You may have heard our voices on our podcast, but this is the first video edition. We wanted to give the faces to the guys on the podcast. This is TJ Hopkins, Israel Rivera. I'm David Huffman. So we're gonna go through a little bit different than we do on the podcast. So the two of them I'm gonna throw them a topic. The two of them are gonna debate, and I'm gonna issue a final verdict. So we're gonna go through a couple of topics. We're gonna talk about the baseball. We're gonna talk about the NCAA basketball. Talk about the NFL. And we're talking about basketball, NBA.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Indeed.
So the first thing,
gonna be fun.
First thing we're gonna talk about is your Cubbies.
Yes,
I know you guys have been really fired up. Yes. A big injury happened Friday or Thursday.
Not worried about it.
Not worried about it. All
Not
right, so
worried about it.
You guys go ahead and debate. How important do you think this injury is to the Cubs?
I'll go first.
You go first.
I'm not worried about it because, first of all, Kyle Schwarber went down, but we had that competition of Jorge Soler and Kyle Schwarber. Well, now that solidifies it. Jorge Soler, that's his position now. You got a bevy of talent that's in your AAA, in your farm system. I'm not worried about Kyle Schwarber. He's not a natural outfielder. He's more or less in there for his bat. So in the long run, I think it helps them in terms of defensively. In the long run, it hurts them because that's a big bat out of the lineup. But let's hope that Jorge Soler turns the corner and has a breakout season with the bat, which he's capable of. He's capable of hitting 35 plus and driving in 80 RBIs, and also being a Gold Glover out there in outfield, no matter if it's right or left. So I'm not worried about it. I think Schwarber, let's have him have a speedy recovery, and let's next man up, like our old friend Tom Thibodeau used to say.
Yeah. The great dictator.
Well, it's early. I mean,
Yes.
It sucks that he got hurt this early into the season, 2 or 3 games in. And like Izzy, I'm not too worried about it because the Cubs do have depth, thank God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you have and it's just not like you have a Jorge Soler that can replace Schwarber's bat, and you have a Shane Victorino who can replace him in the outfield, and you have a bevy of other guys, like he said, in the farm system. But it's difficult to replace a Kyle Schwarber because he can play multiple positions. He can play all 3 outfield positions. He can play third base if you want, if he has to. So it's in that aspect, it's hard to replace him because he can play multiple positions. But as far as adjusting the lineup, we have a Jorge Soler, we have a Shane Victorino, we have different pieces to replace what he was gonna do, and like Izzy said, speed recovery, come back next year and look better than ever.
Yeah.
This is the beauty of baseball and the lack of salary cap. You're able to have players like a Dexter Fowler. You have to have a plethora. If this happens in NFL or NBA, you're not able to replace a guy like this because you don't have all this extra talent.
Well, also he's not getting paid that much money either.
Yeah, but either way, there's still the salary cap doesn't allow you. No salary cap allows you to have a plethora of talent that you would never have in any other sport.
That is true.
The Cubs are going to be fine. This is sure it's a big time injury because you're losing a big bat, but you're going to be fine. The Cubs are going to be fine. They have a Dexter Fowler. They have Victorino. They have these guys that can play.
Yeah, and going back to TJ's part, I mean, Schwarber, he's not really the best at the glove in any position, at catcher, at outfielder. He's pretty much learning the outfield position still. He was still learning it, and that's why he was still making strides in spring training. They really how much he came from last year. At catcher, he wasn't the greatest either. It's really the big bat. I mean, they were willing to have Schwarber out there, and whatever mistakes he made defensively, they were willing to live with it because he was probably going to make up for it at the plate.
Are you arguing this is going to make them a better defensive team overall?
Yes, overall, the Cubs are going to be a better defensive team with Jorge Soler.
A better team?
Better defensive team.
What about a better team?
The bat, and then the thing is that you're talking about a big bat, but Jorge Soler now is going to get more games played, so he's going to be. You hope and you plan that he's going to step up and he's going to provide that big bat that Schwarber was in. It just takes away a big bat.
My only knock against Jorge Soler is that he tries to swing for the fences way too much.
Shout out to Schwarber.
There's a lot of people like that, but if Joe Man was to go up to Kyle Schwarber, man, all we need is a base hit. Schwarber will get you a base hit.
Yeah,
so Soler's going to try to knock the ball out the park every time he's at bat. I mean, that's the objective, but it's all Schwarber plays more of a Schwarber has more of a like a scheme to him. Like if it's like, all right, we got a hit and run on, like you can do a hit and run with Schwarber, like you can do that.
Well, a lot of teams were. Well, what I noticed is that a lot of teams were giving him that David Ortiz treatment in terms of they have like the second baseman all the way in the outfield, on that shift to right base because he always pulls it to right field.
So is this as impressive for the Cubs, the start of the season, how the way the season has started so far, minus his injury, as you could have ever imagined?
It's only 3 games, but so far what I've seen, I think last night, they were a little shaken up. One of their guys went down. Obviously, they lost for the season. But they lost the game in the 8th inning. Let's remind you that they were up 2-1. They were going to win the third straight game, and they gave up the lead. Goldschmidt hits a single up the middle and a couple runs scored. So they lost 3-2 at the end of the game. And that's the only thing that scares me with the Cubs is their bullpen. Their bullpen and their 4 and 5 rotation guys. That's the only thing that scares me about the Cubs. Everything else I think is all good. They're gonna grind out at bats. They're gonna get guys on base. They got speed on the base paths. They got power in the lineup. They got a great offensive team. I think they could easily score 5 runs easily every game this year. They're probably gonna be the best offensive team this year. It's all about that relief, that bullpen, and that 4 and 5 guy their 4 and 5 guys going to step up this year.
How are you feeling about the start of the season? You're in a good place?
I'm in a good place.
I'm in a good place.
Schwarber's injury, of course that sucks, but at the end of the day, you have to remember it's part of the game. Injuries happen, and it's 162 games. So
and you prepare for these things in baseball by having extra players. That's why you have such a deep roster.
It's a long season.
Long season.
So the verdict is in. The Cubs are going to be fine. Okay? Just so you guys know, the Cubs are going to be fine. So we're going to move over to NCAA. So there were a lot of complaints about the way this tournament was starting to unfold, with the way there was blowouts in the Final 4 games, the Elite 8 games were all that competitive. Did that national championship game save the end of the tournament with being one of the greatest games to ever play? I'll get TJ's opinion first, and then we'll go over to Izzy.
As far as saving the tournament, I don't think it didn't save it, nor did it hurt. It help it because it's the NCAA tournament. Year in and year out, there are going to be blowouts. You can't change that. You can't predict that because blowouts happen. Did we think when Villanova and Oklahoma played that Oklahoma was going to lose by 40? No, you don't. But you don't expect those kind of games in the Final 4. You expect those games to be kind of close.
Exactly.
How you expect the game to be close, it can go the opposite way and vice versa. Everybody expected Michigan State to blow out Middle Tennessee State. What happened? Michigan State got upset. And it's you can't that was first round of the tournament. You can't I don't think it helped it, nor did I think it hurt it. It helped in the fact of giving a great game to watch, because I'm still upset that I missed that game.
I missed it too.
So it was it was a great game. It helped on the fact that giving people something to talk about. Whereas to where does this game rank all the time? Because in my opinion, that's one of the greatest championship games ever.
We'll talk about that in a little bit. But, how about you? How did you feel?
Regarding the tournament, it was there were a couple good stories. The Syracuse story, for them to even be in the tournament was a big story, and then for them to go all the way down to the Final 4 was a huge story. You've never seen Syracuse in that position where they're the underdog, and they keep round after round overcoming.
I don't know about that.
They were the underdog. They were the underdog.
Even when they had Carmelo, even when they had Melo, though, they were kind of the underdog.
No,
come on! Nobody thought they'd be as good as they were with Melo.
Well, yeah, but you know what though? Melo was pretty much consensus player of the year, and you had a feeling. You had a feeling that year that they were going to beat Kirk Heinrich and Nick Collison. But nobody expected it, but you had a feeling. Anyways, but the tournament was okay. There were some teams that you wanted to see. You wanted to see Michigan State go a little bit further, because a lot of people loved Denzel Valentine, and people are infatuated with Tom Izzo everything that he's built there. But I think all in all, when it came down to like the Sweet 16 and Elite Eight, Final Four, I mean, there were just so many one-sided victories. There were not a lot of close victories. There were not a lot of close games going down to the wire. It just looked like a couple teams, checked out, down the stretch in that tournament. And so that national championship game definitely saved the tournament, in my opinion. But it wasn't one of the better tournaments that I've seen in recent past.
I will have to agree with Izzy on this one. I totally agree that this game took this NCAA tournament to another level, because without this game, it was just kind of another run-of-the-mill tournament. It was nothing special about it. Like the games towards the end were like lopsided victories for the teams that won.
I think the NIT might have been better.
But then they had this game, and it just solidified this tournament as one of the better tournaments. Like, because we had a lot of upsets in the beginning, and then you had this epic national championship game.
Yeah, that national championship game was really epic.
And if you had to rank that national championship game all time, where do you guys have it? What do you guys think about it?
I definitely got it top 3, depending on basketball historians what they want to say. If I'm gonna rank it, I rank it number 1. It's the greatest college basketball national championship game I've ever seen. I mean, you can go back to NC State Houston, where he throws up the shot and Lorenzo comes up and dunks the ball. Whatever the case is, the Michael Jordan shot against Georgetown, Villanova beating Georgetown. Those are games, but this was a legitimate. Did you see Marcus Pace, 13 and a half seconds? He splits defenders, makes a 3-point shot, desperation.
Not just a 3-point shot, a double
clutching 3-point shot, drains it. Everybody thinks, oh man, this goes to overtime. They're done. Villanova's done. Momentum's on the way. Marcus Pace just scored like the last 7 or 8 points. So he's heating up. So Villanova came into that last play knowing that they had to put that shot up and it had to go down. Otherwise, they were going to lose the national championship. And I was so glad the way that game ended, because that was spectacular. I've never seen anything like that in a college national championship ever. I mean, you go back to NC State Wolf versus Houston. That's the only game you could compare. I wasn't even alive. You got to go back. You got to go back to where I wasn't even alive. I'm going back to looking at ESPN classics, for Christ's sake. That's how far I got to go back to compare this game. This game is up there, and by the end of it, in about 20, 30 years, we'll still be talking about this game.
How do you feel?
Yeah.
Rank it all time, it's up there. Like, I don't like it. Like he said, it might be number 1.
It might be number 1.
Because all them buzzer beaters in the past, like he said, like we weren't even thought of.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't even allowed to see like the Houston, like the NC State buzzer beater or the Jordan buzzer beater. Like it was, and Jordan's buzzer beater, like there was still time left on the clock. Like
yeah, exactly.
And this one was like, and what makes Jenkins' game-winning shot special is not only like he didn't like catch it at like half and like throw it up and then went in. He caught that mark 94 feet and went the entire length of the court.
Yeah, Archie Diacono. Yeah.
And caught it and threw it up and it went in.
I think what makes it a little bit more special is that it was a big man that won the game for Villanova. Shout out to all the big men that are playing basketball out there, because it can happen. You can make the game-winning shot. It doesn't always have to go your point guard or your shooting guard. So I in that respect, I think that shot was even more special. But I just think like even with the Jordan shot, there were some things that had to go into account. I mean, Jordan hits a shot and then the blatant pass to James Worthy at the to go into the next possession. I mean, some things had to go wrong in that Georgetown North Carolina game, the NC State game. I mean, really they dribbled out the clock. He shot an air ball and the guy saved him on the baseline. So I mean, I think this shot is more spectacular than those shots. I think when you look at it, the Jim Valvano antics, running around the court trying to find somebody to hug. I think that plays a part into it. But I think that shot ranks.
And you got Jay Wright's reaction, just the most
nonchalant
reaction to a game-winning shot. And it's just like, my team just won the national title, and I'm just like,
he's just like
so cool.
All right, so the verdict is in. This is definitely a top 3 national championship game of all time.
Yes, it is.
The fact that Marcus Paige was able to scissor kick and stay in the air for so long, double clutch and shoot that 3. I can't believe how long he was in the air. Like, I didn't think Marcus Paige had that kind of hops. Like, he was in the air forever. And then for the way the last possession, like it was like almost like they ran that play. It was designed. Like that's
Yeah,
where
it was.
it was
definitely
perfect.
it was definitely
And left no
designed.
time left on the clock. It was the
definitely
perfect
designed.
national championship game, the perfect way to end the NCAA
Yeah,
tournament.
Yes, it was.
So now we're going to go over to the NBA, and there are a couple teams right now that are chasing some history. Golden State are chasing the 95-96 Bulls, and the Spurs are trying to do something that's never been done in the history of the NBA. And those two ideas are going to go clash head-to-head Sunday when Golden State goes into San Antonio. So one of those records is going to be done in San Antonio on Sunday. Which one? Go.
Golden
TJ.
State.
I'll let TJ go first.
Golden State. They're not gonna win on Sunday.
Why do you think that?
I don't see them. I either see them tying 72-10 or they go 71-11. I do not see them going 73-9.
I feel like their chance of getting their record has been diminished by the bad losses they've had in the last couple of weeks. The Minnesota
And those guys
and
are
Boston.
Like, those guys are tired. I mean, like I understand, like if you have a like Kobe told him, like if you have a chance to chase history, chase it. But those guys are tired.
Yeah, you could tell.
Like they
Team,
that loss to Boston, like they were tired. Like you can see it. Like it's like I understand, like you trying to do something special, and like you trying to do something special. You're trying to do something that will never be done, probably ever again. Cause like look how long it took for them. Like look how long it took for the conversation of beating 72-10 to even come up. It took 20+ years for 72-10 to even be
Many analysts,
mentioned.
many NBA analysts thought that record was untouchable.
Yeah,
Like it would
yeah.
never be broken ever in the history
I
of the
mean,
NBA.
They were all wrong.
And it's not like it's not like they haven't had, you know, some type of help like with like the different rules and this and that, but it's all like they won, like Jordan won 72 games in a much more physical ground and pound
It's a different game.
league.
He also played in the Eastern Conference at the time that was arguably as good as the Western
Ar-
Conference is
yes.
now, if not better than the Western
I
Conference
have
is
an
even now.
argument. I have an argument about that. Okay, you bash the Eastern Conference every week that we do this show, and I look at the conference. Nope. First of all, up. Collectively, as a conference, the East is better.
All
The
the
East is
talent's out
better
west.
in terms of that 3 to 8 seed. Not well, 4 to 8 seed. My bad. Because you're looking at the Western Conference, your top 3 loaded at the top, but everybody else is mediocre.
I couldn't
Agree.
I couldn't disagree with you,
You
more.
couldn't disagree.
I couldn't
What?
disagree.
Are you kidding me?
The best team out in the East couldn't even, like, Cleveland has no business. Like, they would be a terrible team in the Western
No,
Conference.
oh my, are you serious? They'd
Yeah,
be a top
no.
3 seed
No
in
way.
the Western Conference.
Zero chance.
They'd be a top
Zero
3 seed in the
chance.
Western
No way.
Conference.
What the Spurs have a chance to do. The Spurs have a chance to finish the NBA regular season with a perfect home record.
Never been done.
I don't think
in the
that's
history of the
never
NBA.
been done.
Ever.
And it's really a clash of two different styles of basketball. You have the San Antonio Spurs, who are more of a old-fashioned like ball movement, which is so beautiful to watch. Like I love the way they pass the ball. And you got the Golden State Warriors, like that run and gun, literally try to run you out the gym
That's what happened on Friday.
style of basketball.
Or
And this-
Thursday, whenever they played, it was over.
Like you have, I think it was Thursday. Like you
Yeah.
have two different styles of basketball clashing. It's like you got two different records going up, and like you say, one's got to give. And I don't think the Spurs are losing at home.
I think that Spurs game on Thursday at Golden State, that game was over with. Like I told you, that game was over with after the first quarter. They were up by like 15, and I think Greg Popovich was like, "Okay, I don't care about this." So this is my gist on Sunday's game. Okay, Greg Popovich, I think, wants this undefeated at home record. I think if he wants a record, this is going to be
Man,
one.
but it's-
I think he wants it. But if Golden State loses, I think Steve Kerr rests his guys down the stretch easily.
Down the
And-
stretch, it's only one
There's
game
only one
left.
game.
Well, I mean, well, yeah, 2 games. There's 2 games. There's 2 games left.
One game left after that San Antonio game.
There's one game left after?
Yeah,
Yeah, 'cause they played
Yeah,
Memphis
okay,
on
yes, you're
Monday.
right. So they got 1 game left. He rests them that next game.
Okay. You're not going for the record anymore. Of course
Yeah,
you're not.
exactly. You're not going to go for the record. So you rest all your players that next game. But at the same time, I just have a feeling that Golden State just might do it. They just might. I think Greg Popovich, for some reason, I just don't trust Greg Popovich playing Tim Duncan and those guys. You know, Even though I know he wants to, I think he wants to get the record, but you never know what that
So
guy.
there's two things that factors kind of into this.
Yeah.
San Antonio also has to play Oklahoma City in San Antonio the day
man.
after this
yikes.
game.
Oh yeah.
So it's not like you get they're gonna get the record immediately. Like they have to still beat Oklahoma City with Kevin Durant and Russell Westbrook, and like so. I'm gonna make the argument that neither of them get this record. I think maybe San Antonio beats Golden State in San Antonio, and then they lose to Oklahoma City the next night. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, because I just don't trust.
And I don't trust Greg Popovich.
I
never
Greg
know. I don't think
Popovich.
he cares about these records. I don't think he cares. He's
We
like,
could all talk about him. We could all say he does care or he wants it or it's a remarkable feat to
Nobody
match.
knows.
But nobody knows
Popovich-
what Greg Popovich is thinking.
Like they got Tom Thibodeau talking about where Greg Popovich. I'm like, Tom Thibodeau, how do you even know? Like, how does Tom Thibodeau know what Greg Popovich is
Because
thinking?
those
Nobody even knows what Tom
'cause,
Thibodeau's thinking.
No, because like those are coaches that don't really care about records. Like take Thibodeau's first year in Chicago. They go 62-20. He wasn't like he
They were
didn't
10
care.
games away from being 72-10.
Like he didn't.
Yeah, good job, bro. Yeah,
He didn't care. Like, oh, it's my first season. I went 62-20. Okay, that could have happened.
Yeah, but Tom Thibodeau.
So what? Like Greg Popovich. Oh, we're undefeated at home. Like I don't think that really means anything. Like, might mean the free cup of coffee.
I think if he
somewhere,
gets it, he'll be ecstatic. But I don't think he's going to be like going out of his way to get it.
Like,
And I don't think
he's
going to sacrifice trying to win this championship to get this record. That mean, like in the big picture, if they don't win the ship and they get this record, it doesn't mean nothing to Greg Popovich.
Exactly.
Yeah, he's not gonna be talked about as much when he's like talking about his Hall of Fame credentials. Like, oh yeah, that season where he coached that team that didn't lose a game at home. Like,
Like, no one thinks about that.
Yeah, no, I definitely think Greg Popovich. I just don't trust him. I'm 50-50 on if he rushes guys or not. 50-50 on.
on that game on Sunday.
That game on Sunday, no.
You think
But that game against Oklahoma City, yes. I think 75% or to 90% he's going to rest his guys against that game.
On
Oklahoma
that Monday,
City.
yeah.
Maybe.
I think he goes, hey, we're going to beat Golden State just for just because we need to get our
Derail
psyche
their
about to like be relevant. Like we have to get into their minds that we could beat them too. So I think he wants to beat them, but in hindsight, I don't really think he cares about the record. So when they go against Oklahoma City, he's like, okay, I pretty much got a second seed locked up. Do I really need to play? Do I
Y'all
really?
can sit down.
Yeah, y'all can sit
rest.
down. Yeah, y'all
Y'all
can rest.
old.
I mean, you
Just
guys
sit
are
down.
old.
It's fine.
Just sit this game out. Who cares? Let's see if Patty Mills and those. But
what's-
then, vice versa, though. Billy Donovan could end up
I bet
resting
that does
Durant
happen because
and,
they've already
and
clinched
Russell
three.
Westbrook.
They've already clinched the
And
season.
was-
Yeah, so
And
you
was-
might be having a game of
Backups.
backups.
And
I
was-
trust San Antonio's more than
Yeah.
Oklahoma City.
Oh, absolutely.
And,
Not
and,
even
what's,
close.
what's amazing about the Spurs is like they can sit their four best players and they can still win. Like,
Yeah,
which
when they
is-
play like the Nuggets.
Yeah, when they play like weak teams in the NBA. I think the only player that
That's
doesn't get
besides the
rest is
point.
Kawhi Leonard.
That's
No, they last night
no,
they
that's
benched
besides the
all their
point.
stars but Tim Duncan.
That's
Tim Duncan played.
That's besides the point.
so opposite.
That's besides the point. It's like you mean to tell me my bench players are better than some teams' starters?
Yeah, I don't think that's even a debate.
Like-
absolutely.
like
Look at the
that's-
starting
like
lineup for
that-
the Sixers.
Like,
come on.
okay, that's
You
why.
can't even name the starting lineup.
That's why it's
The
impressive.
Suns.
That's why it's impressive because you have bench players like whooping up on another team's starters. Like that's why it's impressive to me. Like you can sit your four best players and you can put four practically no names in and
No, those guys are bench
Oh,
players.
come
Those
on.
guys are bench
Boris
players.
Diaw's a little bit hurt.
Yeah,
So
but-
okay,
when he
Patty
comes back-
Moore is not a
Diaw.
starter.
Boris Diaw's a very
whoever
good
you're
basketball
throwing out there, Kyle Anderson is not a starter in the league. Whoever else, Manu Ginobili, he's
a Hall
always
of
been a
Famer.
six-man.
Manu might be resting with him.
He's a Hall of Famer. He's a Hall of Famer.
Oh,
Yeah,
no
definitely.
doubt.
Definitely
No
Hall of
doubt.
Famer.
Not even close.
Manu might be
Especially
resting
since
with
they,
him.
especially since they lowered the standards for international players.
What was with the quotes
What
you
was
just
with the
did?
quotes you just like? What
They
was
lowered the
that?
standards.
Are you talking about Yao Ming?
Lower-
You're
yes,
talking about Yao
they
Ming.
lowered the standards.
All right, we're not gonna get into that. So the Bulls season is probably gonna end tonight against LeBron, as is tradition.
That's tradition. It's always tradition that the Bulls season ends with LeBron because we always have hope that we could beat him next year. And then next year happens and he beats us.
No,
again.
it's either in the playoffs, but this time LeBron has a chance to end our season in the regular season.
In the regular season, which
And-
he's probably like gonna take a lot more pride in, maybe.
I think LeBron has like a fetish for limiting the Bulls. Like, he's like, oh man, the Bulls, taking them down.
I think LeBron has like a voodoo doll on the
So
Bulls.
the Bulls are gonna be done,
The Bulls
And
are
this is going to be
toast.
like one of the most disappointing seasons in history of the Bulls. I can't even remember a season with this much expectation to fall flat on their face.
Yeah, this is the most
The season
disappointing
before
season.
Derrick Rose came.
No,
dude,
no, they didn't have that much. They
We
didn't
had
have
this
that
talent.
Much. Well, he has a point because they did sweep. The year before,
The Heat?
yeah, they did sweep the Heat after they won
Yeah,
the
that's when they had
championship, and then
Thabo.
they lost to
The
and
D
then-
Wade stopper.
Yeah, and then they lost
Don't
to
even
Detroit
do
in the second round. They lost to Detroit in the second round, and then Cleveland ends up going to the finals, beating Detroit in the Eastern Conference Finals. Yada yada yada. And then that year after, you're like, hey, the Bulls, they turned the
Yeah,
corner.
but we had
make
some
it to the
injuries
Eastern
that
Conference
season.
Finals.
We had some injuries that season. I think Luol Deng got hurt.
Yeah, he did get hurt.
Yeah,
he
and
did
he's a
get
big
hurt.
piece of that part of
Yeah.
that team.
Yeah,
and then
so-
then Tom Thibodeau got whoever was the coach. Vinny Del Negro
Vinny
got
Del
fired.
Negro.
Yeah,
no,
and
not
Tom-
Vinny Del Negro. Scott
Yeah.
Skiles.
No, it was Vinny Del Negro.
No, Vinny Del Negro
Vinny
was
Del
not the
Negro
coach.
was
Vinny
a-
Del Negro was the coach there when
when
Derrick
Rick
Rose
got
was the first
drafted.
2 years. Yeah.
True.
Yes, yes.
And like it's me personally, like I know they're fighting for a playoff spot. I don't want them to make the playoffs.
They're not making the playoffs.
I don't-
Indiana
I don't
has to
care.
lose out, and the Bulls have to win out, and they're
That's-
not winning out.
This is what's crazy about this season is like I think this Bulls team has a lot more talent than those teams that Vinny Del Negro coached. And how did Vinny Del Negro make the playoffs with the Bulls?
That's
How
'cause
did
he-
he make the playoffs with the Bulls?
That's because they had
And-
Joakim Noah, they had Luol Deng. They
Yeah,
had
young
those guys.
legs,
And those,
younger
yeah.
legs.
and those
but-
Vinny Del Negro
And they didn't have the
teams
career
were-
ender running them into the ground for 4 years.
And those Vinny Del Negro teams were scrappy. They fought, they clawed, they did everything
Yeah, I know.
physically, mentally
They
possible.
didn't,
Like,
and they
look
didn't appreciate it.
Like look at that,
Management
look
team.
at that series against Boston. Like no one thought that they would take
Yeah.
Ray
Yeah.
Allen, Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce to the.
KG didn't play.
I mean, I think he
Like,
even took the
yeah,
Clippers
you're right,
to
he
the
didn't
playoffs,
play,
didn't
like-
he? Did he take the Clippers to the playoffs?
Yeah.
Vinny Del Negro,
Yeah, he
and then they
did.
let him go.
Like it's like no one thought that they would take those Hall of Famers to the limits that they did. Like no one thought that this young team was gonna take future Hall of Famers to 7 games.
That was one of the most exciting series in the history of the NBA.
Yeah,
And
that
you know,
was.
like that Boston Bulls series. If it had been like
we still
for
talk
the
about it
Eastern
to this
Conference
day.
Finals or something, it's because we're Bulls fans.
Yeah.
And they don't talk about it in big picture things.
They really don't.
Especially on Boston. Like they don't even like it never even happened.
They don't want to remember that.
No, I'm telling you, like because Boston they only talk about their championships.
And-
They don't talk about remember that time we had that epic series against the Bulls in the first round.
And you talk about and you talk how like LeBron has this quote unquote fetish for eliminating the Bulls. I think every time he goes up against the Bulls, I think he takes that personally because I think he knows that he is not well liked in the city of Chicago.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And not to mention he's always compared to Jordan, so it's like
So
it's
like,
a little,
I think like he's
thrust
just,
to, like yeah.
So it's
taking
like
your team
Chicago
down.
fans do not give LeBron a warm welcome whenever he's here. Like don't get me wrong, like there are LeBron fans in the city of Chicago.
I'm a
like,
LeBron fan.
Like okay, it's so it's like he might take it personal. It's like well y'all might not like me, but y'all going home. So now what?
I respect LeBron. It's
All right,
more
I
like-
respect LeBron, but it's like for people to absolutely like despise him, like
Yeah.
that's disrespectful in his own right because like when it's all said and done, he's gonna be a top 5, top 10 player all time, and it's Hall of Famer. Like he's a Hall of Famer. It's all like you have to respect his game. Like you ain't gotta like you don't have to like him, but at least respect his game. Like don't be talking about some LeBron sucks. He's a crybaby. He's this and that. Like one, every NBA player cries. 2,
I think that's a staple in the NBA.
like every NBA player cries. Like 2, respect this
Respect
game.
the
Like
game, yeah.
like does he get away
I
with
agree with
like
you.
does he get away with certain stuff? Yeah,
He's a
but,
superstar.
Like
Every
he's a
superstar
superstar. Like
does.
Kobe got away with a lot of
Mike
stuff.
got
Mike got away with a lot of stuff. Like
Yeah. So if we're like, so the season's gonna be over. If you
Season's
had
been
one,
over
if you
about
had
a month
one
ago.
thing,
The
if
season
you had
was
one
over
thing
a
that
month
you
ago.
could use to fix the Bulls this offseason, name one thing, and I'm gonna pick between
Hopefully
the two.
they get Ben
so
Simmons.
let's start with TJ. One thing the Bulls need to do in the offseason to fix this team going into next year to make them more ready to compete for a championship next year.
compete for a playoff spot first.
Let's
before you compete for
okay.
a championship.
Go ahead, TJ.
Embarrassing.
Like don't say like this team is not a. We all know that the Bulls and the Wizards are playoff teams, but injuries happen to both teams that pretty much.
I'm tired of these
derail
Bulls
that.
fans excuses, man. Like,
But-
it's like always every year. It's like injuries,
Like, dude,
injuries. Like, come on, man.
A week ago, you said the same thing. Don't even.
I'm tired of
don't
it.
even
Like
try-
everybody,
don't
oh,
even
like
talk about
Chicago
some-
fans
don't
are
even
just
get- wait, don't
always
even
like
get
they're
me talk-
constantly excuses.
Like, don't even,
like,
like,
That
don't
is-
even
that's
go there.
definitely the
Don't even
constant
go there.
excuse.
Don't even
The
go there. Oh,
injuries.
I'm tired of Bulls excuses. When a week ago you were saying the same thing. I'm
No,
saying don't even go there, bro. Anyway,
The
I was,
worst.
I was talking about the Wizards.
No.
I think the Wizards have a legitimate gripe
Like,
this season.
one
But the
thing-
Bulls every year, it's like, oh,
It's
if we all had all these injuries,
Let me
we
go
have all these
through the
injuries.
Bulls season. Let me go through the Bulls season this year. It was, oh, we're not winning. We're not consistent because we don't have that glue guy, Mike Dunleavy. And then,
Dunleavy.
Oh, Jimmy Butler goes. Then Dunleavy kind of comes back. Oh, Jimmy Butler goes down in that one game at Minnesota. Oh, we don't have Jimmy Butler. He's our superstar that's supposed to take us over the top. Oh, Derrick Rose is out with general soreness every other night. Oh, now we don't. Now it's Etuan Moore. Oh, we didn't win games down the stretch because Etuan Moore had a sore hamstring. Stop with the excuses. The team was not built to play like Fred Hoiberg wanted them to play, so they fell flat on their face. And when they realized that they could not pick themselves up, they just basically quit. They basically quit on themselves when they know night in, night out. Looking at Boston, but let's look at these teams on the schedule. These weak teams on the schedule. We know they should be blowing them out by 15 points, but let alone they don't play with as much heart and hustle as they used to, so they're getting blown out by these younger, hungry teams like New York Knicks, 2 games in a row. Then you go and get blown out in Orlando. Come on. Then last week you lose to Detroit. You lose to Detroit, the game that you're supposed to win. You lose to Memphis, a game that you're supposed to win. Come on. These are games you're supposed to win. Those are 6 games, 5 to 6 games that you guys were supposed to win. Even a game against Atlanta, it's playoff time. It's time to buck up. Beat these guys. But no, they don't do it. They don't have the heart no more.
If I had to choose one thing, I would have to say be open-minded. I want the if Hoiberg was to go to Paxson and Foreman, and be like, I want this guy to play on my team. They at least have to take that into some type of consideration, because my thing is, if Hoiberg goes to them, they're like, well, I want this guy, and John Paxson's like, well, we're looking at this guy. If I'm Hoiberg, I'm like, well, no, y'all brought me in. Y'all picked me.
This is my system.
This is my system. Right, exactly. Y'all picked me. I'm not going through what Tibbs went through. I'm not finna go. I'm not finna do that, because I couldn't stay at Iowa State, chilling. So he's all like, I want the front office to be open-minded and spend some money.
Yes, definitely spend money.
I think the problem with the Bulls and spending money is nobody wants to come here. This organization doesn't draw free agents because of who runs it.
Last offseason, you had the chance to go get Monte Ellis. Instead, you give Mike Dunleavy $15 million, and he ends up missing the first 50 games.
I'm so tired, and that's one thing. I'm so tired of people like, oh, Mike Dunleavy's a savvy veteran. He doesn't bring anything to the table.
Mike Dunleavy takes 3 shots a game.
He's old. He doesn't play as much good defense anymore. He doesn't even knock down threes like he should be.
And he takes 3 shots a game. We're paying $15 million for a guy, to miss.
Get rid of him.
Open layups.
You guys are spending money on the wrong people. These are character guys.
It's a sad Bull season right now. But hopefully next season gets better, so we can have a little bit more cheeriness around in Chicago. Because when the Bulls are good, the vibe is better in the city.
Definitely.
And so let's move over to the NFL. So we're going to talk about this Colin Kaepernick fiasco. So I want each of you to make an argument if Colin Kaepernick ends up being a Bronco. I'm going to start with TJ. Izzy, go first. Is Colin Kaepernick going to be a Bronco when it's all said and done? Yes or no?
No. Reason being, because I don't think San Francisco truly wants to get rid of him. I think that they're hoping that him and Chip Kelly can get along, because the offensive scheme is going to work for Colin Kaepernick. I just think Colin Kaepernick just doesn't want to be associated with the San Francisco 49ers anymore. Obviously, you want to go play for a Hall of Fame quarterback and the coach that just won a Super Bowl. I get it. But everything has to come into play in terms of money. It's all about money when it comes down to profile athletes. So no, I don't think he becomes a Bronco. I think the Broncos are going to have to go in a different direction if they want a quarterback, and I think Colin Kaepernick's just going to have to settle. But I mean, I'm a little inconsistent on that, because with pro athletes, if they chirp a lot, they're going to get what they want. If he wants to get out of town, they're gonna make sure he gets out of town.
I think Colin Kaepernick is the one holding this up at this point now.
Exactly.
He is.
I think his unwillingness to take that pay cut is killing the deal. Because we talked about this. The deal's done.
My
the parameters of the deal is done.
Yeah. My thing is he's not happy in San Francisco. I mean, and for obvious reasons. This is a guy who 1 year, a couple years ago, took a team to took the 49ers to a Super Bowl and had a legit shot to win the Super Bowl. To losing the starting job to Blaine Gabbert.
It's embarrassing.
He lost the starting job to Blaine Gabbert, and like you said, he got his signing bonus from Denver, not from Denver, from San Francisco, and in order for him to get traded to Denver, he would have to take I think it was a $4.5 million pay
Yeah,
cut.
it's something in that
And
range,
he was
yes.
not. I don't think he's willing
Money
to take
doesn't work
that.
there.
I don't think he's willing to take that pay cut. So for that reason alone, even though he's unhappy in San Francisco, I think he stays in San Francisco because
And the money.
that's where he's getting his money.
Yeah.
And I'm like, me personally, I'm all for NFL players getting their money because of the torture and like the hell they go through. Because like
Non-guaranteed contracts.
non-guaranteed
We
contracts.
talked about
and-
this last week, and we're still talking about
We're still talking about it. You're right because they deserve guaranteed contracts. And me personally, like I think he stays in San Fran whether he's unhappy or not because of that's where he's getting his money. So
I think eventually, this eventually will become a Denver Bronco at some point. I think they'll find a way because I just think that there's something they're going to do. They're going to flip a player. Maybe they throw in Ryan Clady to make the contracts kind of work. It's like you get Ryan Clady plus like a pick for Colin Kaepernick. I mean, I think that makes the money work if they do it like that.
Yeah, the money, it does.
And,
It takes a little
and,
bit of salary
and
off
you,
the
you
cap-
could always
off the
use an
top.
offensive line like Ryan Clady, especially if you're going to draft a quarterback in the first round. So I think eventually he will be a Bronco. Eventually.
eventually he's
I think
gonna
it's
be a
going to
Bronco?
happen. They'll find a way to make it work.
I don't know because
Because
like,
that's the best situation for him. You're not going to come off the Super Bowl and you're not going to put a Johnny Manziel.
Or
you're
rookie.
not starting
Mark
the
Sanchez,
Sanchez.
butt fumble.
You're not drafting a guy to play.
I mean, because like
Try to defend the Super
I'm
Bowl.
looking at the mock
Like
draft,
you got to find a way to make this work.
I'm looking at the mock draft. Like all four people from NFL.com have Denver taking Paxton Lynch with that 31st overall
I still
pick.
think you should do
And
that.
I
even if you get Colin Kaepernick, even if you get Colin Kaepernick.
I agree with that pick, but like if you get Colin Kaepernick, like then you can thrust Colin Kaepernick into that starting role because he has what it takes to go to a Super Bowl.
Not to mention, like in this situation, it actually works out nicely that contracts aren't guaranteed. You can have Colin Kaepernick there for one season as a stopgap between Paxton Lynch and Colin Kaepernick and Paxton Lynch.
That's
you
true.
keep Colin Kaepernick there for one season, then you just cut him and let him do whatever.
I just think Paxton Lynch. I think Paxton Lynch is.
It's an Osweiler 2.0.
I don't think
Yeah.
he's that Ben Roethlisberger type of guy that they.
He's got a big arm. He's
got a big
all
arm,
the-
he's a big guy.
He's got all the
But-
intangibles to be a really good pro.
it's
I
funny.
know, but
It's funny.
what he did in Memphis, he did okay, but like in terms of like big games, in terms of like
Yeah.
really tough competition, he
It's funny
was
because-
not good at all.
It's funny because I
all.
watched his pro day and they was all like I'm watching like live tweets going like he's a mini Big Ben. I'm like dude 6'7".
Yeah, he is Big Ben.
He
He's
is
bigger than Big Ben.
He's faster than Big Ben
He's-
too.
like, he's
not as
bigger than
strong,
Big
I
Ben,
don't
like,
think.
I don't
He's
know
not
if
as
they
big or strong as Big Ben was.
I don't know if
but-
they're comparing him like
Yeah,
to Big Ben because
Big Ben
of,
wasn't as big as strong as he is now when
like,
he
that's
first came
true.
out of
Like,
college.
I don't know if they're comparing him to a Big Ben as to the school reference because you got Big Ben coming from Miami of Ohio and you got Paxton Lynch coming from Memphis.
I don't know. I
Right.
don't
So
think, I
it's
don't
like,
think that's.
I don't-
I
I
don't
don't-
think that's
I-
where it stems.
I
I
don't-
think
I
it's
don't
because
think
he's
that's-
built like a
'cause he's
big
built
person.
like a
He's
Big Ben,
bigger
yeah.
than Big Ben. He's like legit. He's bigger than Big Ben. So how is he a mini Big Ben when he's
I think people
bigger
just
than
I
Big
think
Ben?
people
They
just
say
throw
that-
around words. That
Yeah, they
just-
say mini Big Ben because he's not big. He's not Big Ben yet.
Like, dude,
you know, he's not in that mold yet.
That's-
He's got the intangibles. He's got the
That's
size.
6'7",
he looks like
250.
he looks like a
Easy.
Big Ben, but he's not.
So it was
Big Ben.
back to the draft and the quarterback conversation. So do you guys think the Browns will take a quarterback now that they have RG3, or do you think their first round plans have changed with the signing of RG3?
I think-
and if they don't draft a
Go ahead,
quarterback,
Izzy.
I think
Who does?
I think if you're the Browns, you just lost Alex Mack. You go bolster up that offensive line and go protect RG3. Give him a shot. You don't bring in a young quarterback. You don't want that same situation happening in Washington with RG3. I think you need to go bolster up your offensive line. You got other holes
To
the Browns
fix.
to fill other than your quarterback position. You see RG3 if he's healthy and it brings it all together in this new system with Hugh Jackson.
and if you get Josh Gordon back,
And if you get
Exactly.
Josh Gordon back, right?
Exactly.
And you could probably go
That
get a running
Baylor
back in that
connection.
second round, third round, fourth round, a decent running back. If you guys could go get one, if they could go get one,
didn't they get Arian Foster?
I believe. Did they get Arian Foster?
I haven't
I don't know, maybe
not.
I'm not 100% sure. We're not 100% sure on that. But I think they got more holes to fill. I think that first round pick you go with offensive lineman, or if you got a really stud defensive player, you go and get that guy.
Joey Bosa.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you go and get that guy. So you're good at quarterback with RG3. I think you're good. If he doesn't, if the RG3 go sign a free agent, go get like maybe a Ryan Fitzpatrick, maybe even to back up RG3. But you're gonna want RG3 to be that quarterback of the team. You're gonna want him to be the quarterback.
All right, go ahead.
couldn't agree more with Izzy. Like
Yeah.
you have other holes to fill, and like you have, and let's not act like RG3 is a bust. Like RG3 still has, he still has something there, and it's like, and I don't see the point in drafting a quarterback with that second overall pick when if you don't address the holes on the line, like it don't matter who the quarterback is, they gonna get killed either way it go.
Yeah.
If you don't address the holes on the line, so
Yeah.
if Tennessee with that first pick doesn't get Laramie Tunsil with that first pick,
Yeah.
and he falls to Cleveland, they better take him.
Yeah, they better take him.
Right
yes.
tackle. Maybe play right
Yes.
tackle until Joe Thomas is ready to retire.
Like they better take him.
Or they could take Stanley from Notre Dame.
That's
I think
true
that's
too.
too early for him.
And you have holes on, like I'm pretty sure you got holes on both sides of the line because like we did on an earlier podcast you like was boasting about one side of Cleveland's
They
line
lost Alex Mack.
and they lost
Yeah, they
it.
lost
It's all
it.
like there goes your argument. So it's like
Yeah.
they have to pretty much protect RG3, and if they get Josh and like get him some other weapons in the draft in case they don't get Josh Gordon back. But if they do get Josh Gordon back and you get some more weapons, the more the merrier. Like him and Josh Gordon, you got that Baylor connection. Hopefully, Josh Gordon stays off the weed long enough to produce. I mean, like,
All right, so,
You still got Joe.
I'm gonna agree with you guys, but I think if you really like one of these quarterbacks, I don't think you should pass it up because you've signed RG3. I think that would be no due diligence to your own franchise. If you really like one of these guys, you take him regardless. I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters. If you really like one of these guys, I don't think you not draft him because you took a quarterback or because you signed RG3. I just think that would be reckless. And neither of those guys are ready to start opening day anyways.
think Dallas
So you have
should take a
RG3.
quarterback.
I don't think they will. Maybe they'll get Christian Hackenberg later
you don't
or
want that
Connor
same
Cook.
situation. You don't want that
But
situation.
RG3 is
of
not a
RG3
known
with
commodity at
somebody
this point.
Looking over his shoulder. I mean, come on, man. His play diminished because they were always constantly having a quarterback looking over his shoulder. Think about it. If you're being told you're the franchise, you're the rookie of the year, you're the last person to take us to a playoff,
Not to
berth.
mention you just won the Heisman.
Yeah, and Kirk Cousins
This
just
is a
took him to the
totally
playoffs.
different. This is a totally different situation.
I know. It's because
we
they
could-
both drafted the same. They both drafted him the same year. But at the same time,
we could debate this later.
at the same time, you got to keep him.
I would be agreeing with you guys though. I think there are bigger holes on that team than just that quarterback.
Yes.
They need to address
Yes.
things around them. And
they're not a playoff team next year by any stretch of the imagination.
no, and they're a while away from being a playoff team.
They're probably not going to be a playoff team. For
And
another
next
5
week when
years.
we talk on the podcast, we'll do a more in-depth mock draft. We'll actually talk about where players might actually go, and maybe we can preview the NBA playoffs a little bit and talk about some other things.
Definitely that.
So this has all been all for the Triangle. I hope you guys enjoyed our actual video podcast. So we had a lot of fun putting it together. So this is the Triangle signing out. You guys all have a great weekend.